management, or advertisers. Vision Communications Incorporated is not responsible for the validity or accuracy of information presented on this program.
Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Shealy-Sorin. Get the health answers you need from the creator of Holistic Medicine and the 2020 Holistic Doctor of the Year. To be a part of the show, call 417-447-1777. Wellness Wednesday. Now, here are your hosts, Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Shealy-Sorin.
Good afternoon. It is Bliss Day. And if you don't know what Bliss is, we're going to talk about it for the next hour, and we'll take your calls after the first half hour. Basically, Bliss, I came upon only in 2000. Well, April the 22nd will be a 10th year anniversary. But before that, I had, since 1995, I had the basic makings. In 1995, I began to get some ideas about specific circuits in the body that would do. Well, we are an electrical circuit board. And the first one I got was to increase your DHEA, the anti-stress hormone. And then I got the one that was to increase your oxytocin, the binding and loving hormone. And then I got the one for water metabolism, which is very important for blood pressure and weight and edema and all kinds of other things. Then I got the one for keeping your thyroid normal, but also keeping your bones strong. And finally, for reducing free radicals. When I got that idea, I thought, wow, if we could do all those things, we ought to live to be 150 years, maybe average. Anyway, at least 120 to 160. And
healthy and happy. Not a nursing home style.
No, not at all.
Exactly.
No, yeah. I would have died without a nursing home. I given, you don't take me there, don't take me to the hospital. But at any rate, but we had to do it with electricity, and it took time. Like half an hour to an hour a day. And most people won't do that. So all of a sudden, on April 22nd, 2011, I got this download. I bet we could do this with essential oils. And I came up with Air Bliss. The first one I wanted to do was oxytocin, the bonding hormone. And lo and behold, it worked. And over the next couple of months, I figured out a way. Each one is different. Air Bliss, for instance, doesn't work on Crystal Bliss circuit. But Air Bliss works on the air circuit, which is for oxytocin. And oxytocin is deficient in every known disease. And it is treating depression and anxiety better than anything else in the world, except the PEP device, maybe, but still simple. You can do it at home. And so Fire Bliss raises DHEA, the anti-stress hormone, also good for pain and depression. And the Water Bliss helps you lose weight, but also is good for swelling and edema and congestion.
Blood pressure.
And blood pressure. And, of course, the Crystal Bliss is for reducing free radicals better than anything else in the world, 80% reduction.
Now, let's talk about what free radicals are and why
free radicals are the byproduct of metabolism. They ultimately kill us. They age us. Free radicals destroy your cells. Ultimately, they are the byproduct of destroyed cells. And, of course, Earth Bliss raises calcitonin, the hormone that keeps your bones strong, but also helps relieve pain. It's stronger than morphine, milligram per milligram. So it's an exciting concept. And if you did all 5 of them at home, it only would take you a maximum of 2.5 minutes a day.
Yes.
No pain, no strain, and health enhancement. I mean, there's nothing else in the world that could enhance your health. Not only that, it also regrows your telomeres.
Let's discuss that, because telomeres is not just a way to live longer, it's a way to live healthier.
Absolutely.
Telomeres, proper telomere DNA material, a genetic, that's behind just healthy life, not just long life.
And even in the healthiest of lives, the telomeres shrink 1% every year of life average, and a lot more if you have a major trauma or whatever. But we have also demonstrated that using the Bliss Oils, you can regrow your telomeres a whopping 3.5% a year. That's like in 10 years, you're 35% younger, 35 years younger.
And that is where the statement of living beyond 100 comes from, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Okay.
And, they smell good too. Almost everybody likes the smell. Now, occasionally somebody, we have our idiosyncratic things, but for most people, the odor is pleasant, relaxing, and enhancing.
Yep. Actually, I use that as my perfume actually for the day when I do that. First thing in the morning. No fail.
Now, it's interesting because I use it in the evening after my shower.
Well, that's...
I just want to get it done and sleep well.
Gotcha. Well, there's no reason why not, to smell good for yourself.
And it doesn't matter whether you're in the morning or the evening, by the way.
Let's talk about the application. Now, interestingly, what you mentioned is transcutaneous acupuncture. Let's talk about the term and what that means.
Okay.
Transcutaneous, through the skin.
Right. Now, when I actually went to publish my first paper, and I just called it Application of Essential Oils to Stimulate Acupuncture Points, it was turned down. And one of my friends said, but Norm, you created transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation. Why don't you call it transcutaneous acupuncture? Kathy, actually. And so when I submitted the same paper with the new title, Transcutaneous Acupuncture, they accepted it.
Oh, God, yes.
Words have meaning to people as well. And I like it. I'm glad she thought about it. It hadn't occurred to me to use the application of an oil as transcutaneous, which is obviously what I was doing.
And we'll talk about acupuncture itself, which is a good modality to begin with.
It's a wonderful modality. I mean, back in 1955, I began to do my own form of acupuncture, put a needle in the center of pain and stimulating it electrically. I created the whole concept of electroacupuncture.
Wonderful. But the trouble is, if let's say anyone out there wants to do acupuncture, you can't do that at home unless you're trained.
Well, yeah, and doing it on yourself would be pretty difficult in certain positions.
And you got to put needles in and all that stuff.
Hook up the electrodes.
And it takes time, of course.
And it takes a lot of time.
Yes.
And you have to be careful about sterility. But at any rate, so the transcutaneous acupuncture with the Bliss Oils is, I think, one of my greatest contributions and one of the most fun things as well.
And I also like the fact that in addition to the benefits of each of the rings, there's also combinations.
Oh, yes. Fire plus air, of course, helps tinnitus. I don't know anything else that helps tinnitus, ringing in the ears. There's no medical treatment for tinnitus. But in 1988, I developed tinnitus after going to India. And it was loud. And it took me until 2000 when I really got all the rings done that I suddenly realized that if I did fire and air, and it took 3 months, but it's gone. And I've got scores of people who've done the same thing to get rid of their tinnitus. And it's so simple and safe.
Now, there's a few other combinations that are very good. Yeah.
Well, fire and water for the average person helps them lose about a half pound a week. Now, if they'll make a few other changes, they can make a pound a week. But even a half pound a week is great. The slower you lose weight, as long as you're losing it, better it's going to stay off.
Yeah.
Long term. And then when you take, actually, interestingly, when you take air plus crystal, it is great for ADHD and, all kinds of childhood things like that.
Yeah.
But when you take crystal and earth, it is good for Parkinson's, neurologic diseases of all kinds. So all of these, and then of course it's fire, earth, and crystal that rejuvenate your telomeres.
Wonderful, wonderful. Any recent stories of people doing well with that, success stories or otherwise?
Well, I get the telomere study takes three months before you can even minimum 3, but 6 months ideally.
Yes.
So those come in slowly. However, as far as my favorite actually is the woman said, OMG, it's better than Ativan and 3 other narcotics she mentioned. and she was a drug addict. And this is at home. It was not in the office. She was actually in St. Louis.
Wonderful.
And but I've got lots of people all over the earth, but mainly in this country, who have gotten relief from depression and anxiety. That's the big one.
And I think in our society, depression and anxiety, I see it in the emergency room, and we see it even more so in our office lately. It's become horrible. The situation of 2020, and well,
Well, I would say it's doubled or more nationally in the last year.
and if I'm not mistaken, it's costing people years of life
Oh,
moving
yes.
forward.
Well, no question about it. I mean, the number one cause of all illness is anxiety and depression.
Stress
Stress,
is
a
behind
reaction to stress. So unless you can detach from stress mentally, emotionally, you certainly need the Bliss Oils.
And interestingly, I woke up this morning, I wasn't feeling so good for a number of reasons, but I applied the Bliss Oils, and interestingly enough, within a half an hour, personally, I felt better. And again, that's not a surprise, but it's just a wonderful thing. That's
well, actually, sometimes if I have it during the day, I just put a drop load on my upper, just below the nose.
Oh,
just
yeah.
Smelling it will do it for me.
Exactly.
But I've gotten accustomed to it.
Now, do you think at some point we may prove that simply exposing to the smell of a Bliss oil might do the same? Would that be a study worth doing? What do you think?
That's going to be a hard study to do. But after this weekend, when I'm playing around with another research project, we'll think about it.
That's a deal. I would like that, because if you can take it down from 30 seconds to 1
second.
Yeah, I think we can persuade a few other people to jump in on board here, especially so many benefits and so easy. Yeah.
Well, but the neurochemistry is the proof of the benefit.
Yeah. Now, when you did the studies, the research behind this, how long did it take for each research project for that?
Well, it took a minimum of 4 to 6 weeks.
Gotcha.
I mean, even though we can do the chemistry, we need it's a rush to do it in less time. And it's not fair in my point. I want to be sure it's not just a one-time explanation.
It's a permanent
prolonged,
effect,
yeah.
prolonged effect. How soon do the Bliss oils start taking place effect?
Well, actually, the ones that I've measured most accurately, both fire and air, most in the lab, you could get a difference in 30 minutes.
Nice. Well, that's what I experienced personally.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I actually did that where I went to the lab where blood was being drawn, draw the blood, put on the oil to draw the blood 30 minutes later.
Mm-hmm.
But for the chronic studies, I did it mostly after a month or 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm. And I'd like to make a general statement of sorts. There is a really good quote. 90% of what happens to you is not the actual event. It's how you respond to it.
Of course.
And I found that to be very true. And I guide all my clients, all my patients on that. But yes, of course, terrible things happen, and they do. I mean, they happen every day.
Like today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. But, feeling angry, sad, upset, I mean, I thought about it, and it doesn't make any sense, because, by doing so, I'm only hurting myself. Am I not?
Exactly.
And that doesn't help anybody else.
Well, of course, it takes us back to my favorite concept of all, detach.
Yes. Let's talk about detachment, because that's very closely connected to especially the Bliss oils, fire and air.
Exactly. Detachment is, if I can't change it, I am not going to think about it, bother with it, allow it to bother me. I am going to say, okay, I can't do it. Not my problem.
At the same time, we're not saying that. Now, again, that's not, and we've said this before in the last show, but it's not a question of apathy. It's like, oh God, it's a question of, can I do something about it? And if you can, do everything you can until you are driven and until you've got capacity and power. And that's the thing. Exactly. If you can do something, do it. But if you can't, if it's out of your hands,
then detach.
Let go. Now, I also want to mention, thank you for doing the recordings with me. We actually spent quite a bit of time recording a course on the Bliss oils, and there's we still have a bit more recording, but by next week we're gonna have a fully functional online course, wonderfully outlined with all the demonstrations, all the science, all the factors. And that course, as a matter of fact, I just talked to our technical team, is being priced at, and I think it's worth a lot more than that, at $399. That's coming out $399. That's right, dollars. But interestingly enough, this is a special that I'd like to talk about, especially
2 days only.
2 days only, 48 hours. If you purchase a set of Bliss Oils, and I'm not saying you have to purchase it, but if you want to, you will actually get a value of $145 for the 5 Bliss Oils, which is, that price is certainly a special. But I think it's
That's
needed.
in itself a saving of over 50%.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. But even more so than that, you get the course complimentary. So that's $399 right there. And the benefits, you get the oils, you get the course, you get the foundation, and 30 seconds for each ring. You can do it at home. And
how can they order the course right now with the Bliss Oils right now?
I believe there's a link
on the website.
It should be on the website, I believe, but at the very least on Facebook Live and YouTube Live, there's going to be a link there.
Well, also realholisticdoc.com. Good.
Yes. Well, anything else on your mind?
Well, the most important thing of all is to be blissful as much as you can every day of your life. Just to think, hey, it's a great day. I'm okay. That's the most important thing of all to me.
Wonderful. And I do want to bring home this point that things happen, all sorts of things, and some of them are, well, I'm not going to say anything more than that. But if you cannot, and we said it before just now, but it's worth saying it again. If you can't do anything about it, if you don't have personal power, capacity, or influence, you've got two options, or you can worry about it, drive yourself crazy, and just waste your energy and personal and interpersonal, or just realize what you can and cannot do and let go of the crap or things, that are beyond your control or capacity.
And it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's the weather or a person
or anything.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you can't change it, why waste your life energy on it?
And every second, every breath is precious. Every breath is precious. So not to forget to live your life as much as you can fully in the moment. And that's the power. That's the power.
And, one of my favorite quotes of all, every day in every way, I'm better and better. But this is a way to be better and better.
Yes.
To use the Bliss Oils to do it. It's better than just mentally making the decision, because it stimulates your mind and your body and your chemistry.
Biochemistry, neurochemicals, hormones. Actually, the Fire Bliss balances the entire hormonal system.
Exactly.
And that's wonderful.
Can even help the thyroid as well as, but the most important, of course, is DHEA, the anti-stress hormone.
Let's talk about that.
Well, it's one of my favorites because I recognized at least 20 years ago that if we could keep our DHEA at a youthful 25-year-old level, we ought to feel better. So my very first experiment actually was 12 men who had very low DHEA. And so I gave them natural progesterone cream. And lo and behold, well, they all became a bit more horny and everybody was happy except one wife. But their DHEA came up 60%.
Mm-hmm.
Now, actually, if you do all four things that we know you can do, you could raise your DHEA 250%.
Now, there's a package on the website, realholisticdoc.com, D-O-C, doc, realholisticdoc.com. And there's actually a DHEA package there for if you're interested. Now, one of the ways to raise DHEA is indeed Fire Bliss.
Of course, that's one of the big ones.
Yeah.
And it does have many more benefits, by the way, because Fire Bliss also helps rheumatoid arthritis better than anything I know. I mean, 75%, even a 16-year-old with severe rheumatoid arthritis.
That's a terrible one.
Remarkably better in 1 month.
Wow.
She wanted to know if she could go back to gym.
Wow.
At the end I said, well, let's wait 6 months to be sure. I didn't want to rush it. And migraine, 75% of people with weekly migraine, markedly helped with Fire Bliss.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And low back pain.
So many benefits. And the combination of the 5 Bliss Oils. Let's talk about contraindications. Who shouldn't do that?
Well, people who for some reason, don't like the odor. I mean, that's the only reason that I found some people won't use it. Actually, I have only one person that I know of who got a slight irritation of the skin with the oil applied locally.
Out of how many people?
I don't know, hundreds.
Hundreds. So not a common reaction.
No.
Okay. So just another quick summary, and then we have a few other topics to talk about, and then we'll take phone calls in the next half hour. So for the next 48 hours, 2 days, there is indeed a special where you can get a special on the oils themselves at $145 for the five oils, and that has information in it. But the next week, when we release officially, finally, next week or so, the course on the Bliss Oils, which is a value of $399, you get that will be sent automatically. Or complimentary, and I believe that's just a fantastic.
It's one of our best offers.
Yeah. Now, is there something else that we wanted to mention before the break? Or
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Then let's talk about some of our other important things, like the people that we can easily support and recommend for others to use as well.
Exactly.
Like my favorite acupuncturist in the world, Dr. Jill. Wellness Concepts Clinic, right here in Springfield, Missouri. Dr. Jill is the acupuncturist I can truly recommend. 1200 East Woodhurst Drive, Suite R300, 417-877-1300. WellnessConceptsClinic.com. If you want to get the best acupuncturist, go to Dr. Jill. And, of course, if you want my favorite food supplement, Nature Blessed Tart Cherry Juice Concentrate, 2 tablespoons is equal to almost 4 servings of the best fruits and vegetables in the world. I know there's nothing else that concentrated and that inexpensive. Nature Blessed Tart Cherry Juice Concentrate in the produce department at real grocery stores. It doesn't. If they don't have it, they're a fake grocery store like all the other fakes in the world today. The taste is smashingly good. It lowers your blood pressure. It lowers your cholesterol. It's anti-inflammatory. But most of all, for the average person who's only getting 2.2 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, this alone brings you up to the essential number of antioxidants you need.
Wonderful.
And, of course, every day, all year, you need certain supplements, and the place, if you want the premium health food store of Springfield, Spring Valley Natural Foods, right there on South Glenstone, right next to FedEx office. It's loaded. They've got more stuff, but the reason I like them most is service. You walk in the door and they tell you where to go to find things. You don't have to go through 5,000 things to find what you want. And I strongly recommend them. Of course, they carry all of my goodies, Dr. Shealy's Essentials, Dr. Shealy's Magnesium Lotion, and my spray. All the Bliss Oils, of course, our progesterone cream, Eugesterone, for men out of prostate care. I mean, it's the health food store I use, and you should too. If you want the premium health food store, Spring Valley Natural Foods, right here in Greater Springfield. And we are now ready to take your calls at 417.
Actually, the studio line is
missing today.
417-447-1777. All right, there we go. Yeah.
Right now, open line Wednesday.
Yep. It seems like we're still on live, even though we're on a break here. Yep, am I right?
Yeah, we're in the break.
Okay, so we have a opportunity to talk
well,
about...
of course, there's another place you could go as well, folks, and that is realholisticdoc.com. That, of course, is all of our goodies and all the other things that we recommend and lots of other information, as well as you can get a free download of Autogenic Focus, my favorite relaxation, meditation, retraining tape.
Let's talk about autogenic training in the setting of trauma and stress.
Well, there's nothing as good. There's 28,000 scientific references proving how beneficial autogenic training is. Now, it does take 18 minutes, ideally twice a day for 3 months. But after that, A minute or two a day is all you need. And there's nothing that works that quickly except autogenic training.
And the way I describe it to our, our clients is, it's the earliest and the most effective way of biofeedback. Literally,
well, of course, it was the foundation for temperature biofeedback. It was actually originally called autogenic feedback training because of autogenic training.
And what it does, the benefits specifically, is it resets the central and autonomic nervous system, and it allows
control system. The hypothalamus,
yes,
your master control system of your entire brain and body and mind.
28,000 references.
Exactly. And actually, what I learned about it in 1972, there were only 2,600.
Wow. Internet has brought some good things.
Exactly.
How many? And I already know the answer, but I just interesting to say this out loud. Who would autogenic training be contraindicated or not indicated for? Because to me,
idiots.
But
in today's won't do it.
In today's world,
right?
We are surrounded by stress,
and it
everywhere.
Is free, folks.
Yeah.
In fact, if you don't want my newsletter, after you sign up for it, you can not even get my newsletter more. Just unsubscribe.
Just get the benefit of autogenic
I hope
training.
You'll stay with my weekly newsletters, but I just want you to have that because it's so beneficial.
Every week you come up with some good information, really.
And I get testimonials from people who I've never heard of every week as well because they found it so beneficial.
Yes.
So if you are in need of finding more information about the whole field of holistic medicine, we created it. And that is REAL, REAL, holistic, HOLISTIC, DOC.com. That's us. That's how you get in touch with us. That's how you find out our products. That's how you get all the information that we have available there on our website.
And if anybody's interested in the package that we talked about or the special, you can also email me at DRS, Dr. S, Sergey, that's my first name. That's how that came about. DRS at realholisticdoc.com. And that's something that if you reach out to me and if you have any questions, especially if you can find the link or technical difficulties for whatever reason that's going to be on YouTube and Facebook Live, then I'll certainly point you in the right direction as well.
And we get those kinds of comments every day. I've had two questions, however, in the last week about dogs. Now, folks, I'm perfectly happy to give you information for human health, but I really do not know enough about dogs to give you a response. So, please go to your vet.
Although, and I got 2 dogs, and you got a couple. You've had dogs your entire life.
I know, but I don't prescribe to my dogs.
No,
fortunately, they're healthy.
But one thing is dogs and cats and all sorts of creatures. 1 minute, okay. Dogs and cats and all sorts of creatures. What's the one device that you can think of that's good for humans and animals?
PEMF, the Shealy-Sorin gamma PEMF.
Yes,
it's good for everybody.
Oh yeah,
and it puts the brain into gamma, the highest state of consciousness in the world.
And we're ready for questions, and we'll certainly announce it again on the radio. 15 seconds to go.
55 miles an hour. That's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Now, back to Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Shealy-Sorin.
And now is your turn to give us a call right here at 417-447-1777. Open line Wednesday, time for calls about anything, because everything is related to your health. Every thought, everything you think, see, do, every moment of every day. And let's talk just for a moment about what you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
The most important thing in the world is to take care of yourself.
Yes.
No matter what else you think your responsibility is, your number one call. So, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hey, how are you? I wanted to find out, can you tell me about the quality of the essential oils that are the Bliss Oils?
Well, they're the finest quality I could find. They all come from India. but I've checked out the company. We've been using them for 10 years.
That's fantastic. I expected only the best from you, Dr. Shealy. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Hey, try them. Hope you like them.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks for calling. And your turn anytime. Otherwise, you hear us talking. I'd rather talk to you than to Sergey right now.
Well, thank you.
Hey, I get to talk to him every day.
We do. That's right.
And so now is your time right here on the air to get information, ask a question about anything, because remember, even your breathing is related to your health.
And I want to point something out today. So, like I said, today I got up. I wasn't feeling good. I got some exercise in. I had a good, healthy breakfast, plenty of water, a little coffee, of course. But the basic,
Okay.
Go
Go back to that in a minute. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, I'm just calling about the autogenics training. I've been using it for a while, and I've noticed that I tend to wander off. My mind wanders. I'm not following the instructions. Does it still work?
Yes. The interesting thing about it is actually the most common question people have, but I go to sleep. There's something called sleep learning.
Okay.
Actually, you get more benefit if you fall asleep than you do if you're awake, probably.
Oh, okay. That sounds wonderful, because I do fall asleep sometimes as well.
Yeah, that's okay. Eventually, once you've been well trained with it, after you've used it about 3 months, you yourself will do it, but you will only repeat each phrase once or twice.
Oh, okay.
And you'll actually go into that total state of detachment and peace.
Perfect.
And let me drop a little bit more on this as well, or say something. The goal is not to do this exercise for the rest of your life, even though you're welcome to, of course. The goal is to own it. The goal is to basically, you think about it, you're in a stressful situation, and then you just take a deep breath or a couple of deep breaths, visualize, and there it goes, the network. You are, you're automatically adjust yourself. That's the goal. That's called autogenics regulation. That's how the stress management comes in. So it's a tool that you own.
Perfect.
That's the key. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you for calling. Have a good one.
Okay. You too. Bye now.
And now is your turn. 417-447-1777. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, hi. Is this Dr. Norman Shealy?
This is Dr. Shealy and Dr. Sorin.
How are you both? So I have a question. I just discovered you, and I ordered 3 of your books, and I'm reading all about you, and it's quite amazing. My daughter has a food addiction. We have tried everything, every doctor, every medicine, every holistic center, every clinic, where she's on Overeaters Anonymous. She has binge eating disorder. What would you suggest, and how could you help her?
Well, I actually think the best thing she needs is a cranial PEMF device, a pulsed electromagnetic field device.
Perfect.
It's an electrical device, totally safe, except in people with pacemakers, and it puts you into a state of detachment and feeling good about yourself. And it's been used for everything imaginable, even for opioid addiction.
Let's talk a little bit about the study on opioid addiction. That's important.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you for just 1 second. It's completely in her brain.
Exactly.
It's not emotional.
Yeah.
I mean, it's physiological in her brain.
Exactly.
I agree. Absolutely. So putting it on your head, in her case, she ought to start with 4 hours a day.
Yes, but let's talk about the mechanism, because the question is physiology and how does it work?
Well, the physiology is it sets the brain into normal, what I call high bliss state. Nothing else can do this so well, so quickly, so easily without you having to do a lot of work. It does it for you.
And I want to point something else out, because addiction is addiction. Now, it takes many forms, and obviously they're not the same. But addiction is a form of neurological brain. It's a dysfunction. It's a lack of proper function. And putting the brain into gamma mode, actually, we did a research project with a number of opioid addicts, and those folks were having a hard time for years.
Over 26 years, many of them, they couldn't get rid. Now they have been 37 months free of craving.
And they only use it 2 hours a day.
I'm so sorry to interrupt both of you, but that's with using the cranial PEMF device?
Yes, our cranial. Ours is the only one that puts the brain into gamma.
I know. I just ordered one of your 10 3000. So I ordered this also on your website.
Yes,
Wonderful.
you can. Yeah.
Now, put it on now it's easy, a little bit more comfortable on the head if you put it on top of a cap, like a baseball cap. But it's portable. It's battery powered. And once it's been charged overnight, it's good for at least 8 hours during the day. And actually, I have once in my life worn it for 8 hours when I had a terrible case of shingles.
So she should be using this and wearing this 4 hours a day?
Yes.
Is that what you're telling me?
I would start with
Minimum.
that. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
For how long? Like just till the and you think the craving in the brain will stop?
Exactly. Now, the other thing that could help her, by the way, in her particular case, is Air Bliss.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I know is that your oil?
Yes, the Bliss oil. The one called Air for her would be, since she's that bad, I would consider adding that. But try it. You don't know within a week how well it's going to work.
And let's touch base again next week on the radio, if you like, and let us know how things are going.
I would love to. I thank you so much.
Hey,
thank you, boy.
Thank you, and bless you and your daughter.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good one. So if you want to answer a question, now is your turn. 417-447-1777. And otherwise, we keep talking. The important thing is this is the hour of the week to get a free consultation with Dr. Sorin and me right here together. No charge. Happy to do it. That's why we're here. We've been doing it for 32 years. And probably for the next 32 years, because we plan on living, well,
with a combination of Bliss Oils. I'm going to 160, I'm thinking.
Well, my minimum goal is 125, because that would be the world record at the moment. The oldest living known person was 123. So I want to beat that at least.
All right.
But, I'm just doing it for fun. And interestingly, every day is the most important day in your life. It is the time for you to get your act together. So let's talk about the act you could keep together.
Yes.
And at the top of that list, it is WEIGHT.
Mm-hmm.
The number one cause of premature death. An article of premature death says obesity is the number one cause of premature death in this country. It outweighs many-fold now, even smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, second is still smoking. Third is not eating enough fruits and vegetables. The average American gets 2.2 servings a day, and French fries and ketchup are not a vegetable. If you're going to be the average American, please add nature-blessed tart cherry juice. That will at least get you up to the minimum. Now, personally, I get 20,000 servings of fruits and vegetables every morning to start the day. I put it in my slush.
And by the way, that thing is delicious.
Yes. Well, it just gives you all that extra energy.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, exercise.
Mm-hmm.
People who sit all day have the same life expectancy of someone who smokes 2 or 3 packs of cigarettes a day at least. You must move. If you don't get 30 minutes of physical activity 5 days a week, well, you're going to die early and have all kinds of illnesses in the meantime. And I only do 2 hours in the morning, 7 days a week, because I'm a hyperactive child grown up.
Only 2 hours?
And, of course, sleep 7 or 8 hours every night. And as Sergey can tell you, I am just as dedicated to my sleep as I am to my exercise in the morning and my other habits.
Well, that's why it's called essential. So the basic of the foundation, because without lifestyle, without the essential foundation for health, it's hard to do anything else.
And only 2.7% of Americans have all 5 habits. That means that 97.3% of Americans are missing 1 to 5 of those habits.
Speaking of consultations and clinic, because we do see people telephone, Skype, in person. I was fortunate today. The whole day, I was blessed with people who were already interested in health. Normally, it takes me half an hour to persuade somebody to take an interest in health.
I know, and I had two good people today too. People coming ready to do the work.
And
wow,
yes,
it's such a pleasure to work with
yes,
them.
my favorite thing in the world. Then you just get right to the point. What do you need to do to get better? Perfect.
There's only one purpose in life: to help other people, and helping other people to be healthier and to live longer is, not a bad goal.
Yes. Now let's talk more about detachment until the next call. And what do we mean by detachment? Because this is so critical in.
Well, what I mean by detachment is not worry-warding, panicking, being depressed, anxious, angry, guilty, or anything else over something you cannot change. I can't change the weather. I can't change government. I'm not going to worry about it. If I had to wear a mask while I was sitting in here, I would do it. Good afternoon. You are on the air.
Yes, Dr. Shealy. I was wondering if you had any advice for my husband. He has neuropathy in his feet and legs.
And does he have prediabetes, do you know?
Not as far as I know.
Okay, if he has not had the test, be sure you get a hemoglobin A1C. The average physician is stupid when it comes to diagnosing prediabetes.
Hemoglobin A1C.
If it is
A1C,
yes.
A is in ABC, A1C.
If his hemoglobin A1C is 5.6 to 6.4, he is called pre-diabetic. So get that blood test and call us back next week. Now,
All right.
Does he eat meat?
He does eat meat some.
Okay, so it's highly unlikely. The second greatest cause is B12 deficiency, but that occurs primarily in vegans and other people with severe digestive problems. So the chances are it is prediabetes. We've treated literally scores of people with that problem, and it is reversible with herbs, not with drugs, with herbs and with our gamma pimp device. In fact, the very first I began working on this 10 years ago. I had a young man, 40 years of age, who had very severe prediabetes. I mean, he pain and everything. And I was treating him the first time, and all of a sudden he said, I said, what's going on, Sean? He said, I feel as if my feet are moving. And the temperature of his feet had increased 10 degrees because it does increase circulation. But
okay,
I don't generally treat it unless I know that it's pre-diabetic neuropathy.
Okay. Are you taking patients?
Oh yes, we take patients on the air, on the phone, on Zoom, whatever, or in the office.
All right. Well, I'll check his most recent test and see if it gives this information on it. And
yeah,
I don't know how soon he'll be able to get in to see a doctor. We're waiting for this vaccine.
Are you local?
Yes, we're local. And
well, look, if you can't, you can go to any lab test now. You don't have to have a doctor's appointment to get your hemoglobin A1C. Any lab test now. It's right there in Independence, right between Kohl's and Walmart.
Between Kohl's and Walmart.
Yeah,
okay.
Any lab test now. They'll do the hemoglobin A1C, and if you got it by tomorrow, we'll have the result by Saturday.
All right. Now, what's the name of the place? I've got Kohl's between Kohl's and Walmart.
It's called Any, A-N-Y, Lab Test Now.
Any Lab Test Now. Okay.
The good thing about that, and I'm the medical director there, by the way. I love the place, but again, I'm not saying it because I'm the medical director. It's just wonderful. Is they don't overcharge you.
Oh yeah, they're half the price of a regular lab.
and it's very reasonable, and it's very very professional, fast turnaround, and then you can get in touch with us, and we can certainly proceed with a consultation.
Yeah, if you tell them that we're the ones who suggested, they'll send us a report.
Okay. All right. Dr. Shealy, and I'm sorry.
Dr. Sorin.
Sorin, S-O-R-I-N.
S-O-R-I-N. Well, he had a total shoulder replacement in his right shoulder, and that hand is going numb on him. and his left shoulder hurts.
All of
He's,
this can be actually pre-diabetic. I even had one woman who lost her gag response as a result of pre-diabetes.
Well, any nerve can be involved.
Yeah, it can be any nerve in the body.
Right. Okay. We'll see if we can't get this. Are they open, 5 days a week?
Yes.
Yeah, Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday. All right. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you for calling. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
And of course, now is your turn. 417-447-1777.
And it's interestingly enough, I had today was another gentleman who came to me with pain, chronic pain, 20 years plus, was considering back surgery. But do we have a caller?
Another caller. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Dr. Norman Shealy, internationally acclaimed.
Big Bob.
Are you still running around like you're 14 years old? And here I'm 72, and I walk around like I'm 92. I'm getting gooder, but boy, oh boy.
Well, I'm actually 88, but I'm still running around as if I were 12.
No doubt about it. Both of you are great Americans. A lot of exciting things going on. I'm going to make this real quick. My little Shih Tzu puppy has got some things on her back. They look like warts. And they say that this happens with Shih Tzu and a couple others. Is anything, anything like organic coconut oil? I had heard hydrogen peroxide.
Bob,
say again?
Castor oil for warts.
Ooh,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah, put a drop of castor oil or two and a Band-Aid and just put it on there. Within a week, you see beginning to go away.
Well, may the good Lord bless and keep you. We're not forsaken. This is just going to be a time, and we really need to get in and spread some positive light like both of you fine men do, and it might be contagious to other people. May the good Lord bless and keep you. Thank you, and bye for now.
Thanks, Bob. Have a good one.
Amen.
And, go ahead. My favorite statement, halitosis is better than no breath at all.
Yes.
And?
So continue the story a little bit. So the gentleman came in for pain. Didn't even want to address, wasn't even planning to address diabetes and cholesterol and all the blood pressure. But the thing is, never had a hemoglobin A1C.
The average person, the average doctor depends on a fasting blood sugar, which is, well, I can't say on the air what I think about that. That is stupidity. I was taught 65 years ago that diabetes can begin for 10 years before it becomes real diabetes. And about 15% of the people who walk into our clinic have never been tested for it.
Exactly.
And they've got it. And sometimes they're thin as a rail. It can happen in, 10 or 50-year-old people. But hemoglobin A1C is the only way to make the diagnosis. And it's simple blood test.
And when it was an hour consultation, it was wonderful. I also did the sacral shear analysis and corrected it. So
that's a contributor.
Yes.
Interestingly, of course, my lady who came in today did not have a sacral shear, but she did have some other problems. Well, the important thing is that there are two things that the average physician doesn't check for. One is the sacral shear; they don't even know what it is, and the other is for pre-diabetes. So, good afternoon. You're on the. I thought I saw a figure.
I thought so too. Yeah.
Well, it's a red light, but I thought it was a figure going over. Oh, okay. Well, okay. We're still here, folks. You still got a minute or two. Now they're back. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hello, Dr. Shealy. I wonder if you might answer a question for me about the hearing loss. My wife went into two different doctors, Cox and Independent. Cox wanted her to have a brain scan for a tumor because of her hearing loss in her left ear is significantly more than her right ear. Right ear is fairly normal. Left ear's 70% loss.
Go ahead.
The other hearing place didn't recommend that. They just sold us some hearing aids and said probably not an issue to worry about. What can she do about seeing if she has a tumor other than having a $7,000 MRI?
Well, the MRI at the place where I send people is only $1,800 and it's covered by insurance. And I have to admit that if there's even a suspicion, because this is one of the curable brain tumors. It's not a malignant tumor. It's a benign tumor. It's like a wart growing on the nerve. And so I definitely would recommend the MRI.
Mm-hmm.
You would?
Yes, indeed. But don't get it at the
Okay.
hospital. Go to the independent place.
There's an independent place in town?
Oh, heavens, yes.
Where would that be, sir?
I wish I had it in my book. I don't have it in my book. I tell you what, send me an email and I'll give you the phone number for the other place. Norm@normshealy.com.
Norm@normshealy.com.
Yeah, give me that and I'll get you the phone number for the local
And she's
MRI
had-
place.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you. I'll do that. She has had tinnitus for 10 years and vertigo for about that long.
Well, it's worth being sure at this point. And again, you know, the MRI is safe and simple, and so I would get it, and then we'll know.
Okay, and I'd like to talk to you about getting off of blood pressure medicine.
Oh,
I don't take a big
that's
dose.
one of my favorite things. Well, let's set up a focused visit at the clinic, 351-5221, and I'll get you weaned off it within a month or 3.
Thank you.
Safely. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for calling. You know, folks, the important thing is the reason we do this is, well, we enjoy it because that's what we do. We can help people that way. And basically, despite everything going in the world, detach. Have a great week, and we will be with you next Wednesday. Still got another minute? Okay. Well, what would you like to wind up with?
Well, just the fact that it's wonderful to be here with you, and
And
wonderful
let's
to
just
bring.
mention for the last time.
Oh, of course, of course. Yes. So we started the conversation. Thank you so much for reminding me. Bliss Oils. You can get a special for the next 48 hours for $145 for all 5 Bliss Oils.
That's a saving of over 50%.
And next week, when the course comes out, a value of $399, that will come to you
Get that free as well.
complimentary. And that's, well, I can't think of a better way to start a Wednesday.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Everything affects everything. Have a great week.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Anything else? Any closing statements for the live audience?
We're okay.
Yep. And just to clarify a little bit, for those who are still, listening and watching, there's a link on the Facebook Live and YouTube Live that will take you to that special, but also a lot of other information. And take care of yourself, detach, let go of things that are not, you need to let go of, and make the best of life every single day. God bless.